Ivana Trump's marriage was as frenetic as it was brief, beginning with a beautiful wedding at her ex-husband's house and ending with a hurried divorce. Ivana was left to confront her last days in deep sorrow and seclusion after her enchanted love affair took a terrible turn. Rossano Rubicondi was a considerably younger model who she was romantically involved with. What went wrong? Did it go beyond just the age difference? We need to know her background, however, before we can go on to that. The Czech Republic is the place where Ivana Marie Zelníková came into this world on February 20, 1949. Growing up in a Catholic home instilled strong religious and familial values in Ivana. While Marie Frankova was employed as a telephone operator, Milos Zelníček was an electrical engineer. A strong work ethic and the freedom to follow her dreams were values that Ivana's parents inculcated in her, despite the limitations of life under communism. Skiing, a sport that would have a profound impact on Ivana's formative years, was an area in which she first shown remarkable potential. At the young age of 4, she started skiing thanks to her father's encouragement. What impressed me most was Ivana's commitment to the sport. A member of the junior national ski team, she swiftly rose through the ranks thanks to her dedicated training. Considering the restricted options inside her hometown during the Soviet period, her accomplishment was quite remarkable. Because of her exceptional skiing skills, she had the opportunity to travel internationally, which greatly expanded her worldview and set the stage for her future achievements. Academically, Ivana was just as successful as she was athletically. In 1972, she received a master's degree in physical education from Charles University in Prague. Academics weren't the only thing that shaped her experience at university. During her short time on Czechoslovak television, Ivana appeared in the children's series Pan in 1970. This performance hinted at her subsequent talent for the spotlight. Ivana said that she had been chosen as a substitute for the Czechoslovak downhill and slalom ski team at the 1972 Winter Olympics. No documentation of her participation could be located, according to the Secretary General of the Czechoslovak Olympic Committee, who subsequently cast doubt on this assertion. When word got out that Czechoslovakia sent 0 female alpine skiers to the 1972 Winter Olympics, skepticism became even more. Regardless of the debate, skiing was an important part of Ivana's early upbringing, and she clearly had a lot of talent for it. Ivana tied the knot with her best friend and fellow Austrian ski instructor Alfred Winkelmeyer in 1971. Through this calculated marriage, Ivana was able to become a citizen of Austria, which gave her the freedom to leave Czechoslovakia without being considered a defector and the ability to see her parents. She became an Austrian citizen in March of 1972 and filed for a dissolution of her marriage with Winkelmeyer in Los Angeles, where he had taken a skiing teaching job the following year. In the wake of her divorce, Ivana started a new chapter in her life by relocating to Canada. She has been in a committed relationship with George Siravatka since 1967. While in Canada, Ivana lived in Montreal for 2 years and worked as a ski instructor and model. As a model for high-profile clients, she enrolled in night classes at McGill University to hone her English skills. She was also involved in the Montreal 1976 Summer Olympics promotional efforts. Determination and flexibility were hallmarks of Ivana's formative years and professional trajectory. She was able to pursue chances outside the Iron Curtain because to her skiing prowess, which would have been impossible for many in her own country. She eventually rose to popularity on the world arena, building upon a solid foundation she had established via her academic and professional interests in physical education and modeling. Significant connections and strategic choices shaped Ivana Marie Zelníkova's life before she became known as Ivana Trump, laying the groundwork for her future success in America. Ivana's first husband was the Austrian ski instructor Alfred Winkelmeyer. Instead of being a love story, this marriage was all about strategy. Friends Ivana and Alfred tied the knot in 1971 so that Ivana could become an Austrian citizen. Ivana was able to escape communist Czechoslovakia at the time without being accused of defecting because to this marriage, which allowed her to leave the nation despite the restrictions. By making this change, she was able to keep her right to visit her parents in her native country. The turning point in her life came in March 1972, when she obtained her Austrian passport. Ivana and Alfred split peacefully in 1973 in Los Angeles, having fulfilled their marriage's purpose. George Sirovatka, a fellow Czech who had emigrated to Canada in 1971, became Ivana's love interest after her divorce. Since 1967, they were dating, and George was the owner of a ski store in Montreal. There are no legal documents to back up Ivana's subsequent claims that they were married. Still, Ivana's journey to Canada and the start of a new chapter in her life were both made possible by their love. Montreal was the catalyst for a fresh lease of life for Ivana. Making use of her extensive knowledge of the sport, she started teaching others how to ski. The skiing community took a shine to her due of her charisma and talent. On the other hand, Ivana didn't stop at skiing. She also tried her hand at modeling, which brought in more money and gave her more publicity. She amassed an impressive and varied portfolio while working with renowned clients such as Eaton's department store and fashion designer Oleg Cassini. The city also hosted the 1976 Summer Olympics, and she was involved in their promotional efforts. She hinted at a future as a media-savvy entrepreneur in this role, which demonstrated her ability to integrate her athletic background with her burgeoning public presence. What happened to Ivana during her time in Montreal was crucial. This formative period prepared her for her future as a New York City resident and wife to Donald Trump by facilitating personal development and change. Ivana's path from a sleepy Czechoslovakian hamlet to the vibrant metropolis of Montreal was shaped in large part by her early marriages and love connections. Her marriage to Alfred Winkelmeyer was a calculated move that allowed her to see beyond the Iron Curtain, and her romance with George Sirovatka took her to Canada, where she could build a successful career. Ivana's marriage to Donald Trump was a watershed moment in her life. It catapulted her to stardom and cemented her place as an influential figure in American society and business. Their journey started with a passionate courtship that blossomed into a highly publicized marriage in the 1980s. In 1976, while attending a fashion show in New York, Ivana met Donald Trump. Donald was on the rise as a real estate developer, and she had already made a name for herself as a model. They had an immediate chemistry. Ivana claims that she and other models were having dinner when Donald came up to them and offered to assist them get a seat, despite the restaurant's high volume of customers. His self-assurance and charisma left an indelible mark on Ivana. Following a little over a year of dating, the pair tied the knot in April 1977 in a town hall-worthy ceremony. Marriage swiftly transformed into a partnership, including both personal and professional endeavors. They were married for 33 years and had 3 children, Donald Jr. in 1977, Ivanka in 1981, and Eric in 1984. Ivana was an integral part of the Trump Organization and helped bring many high-profile projects to fruition. She oversaw the building and design of the Trump Taj Mahal Casino in Atlantic City, played a key role in the development of Trump Tower in New York City, and was the manager of the Plaza Hotel. The Trump brand has become a byword for excess and richness, thanks in large part to Ivana's astute business sense and penchant for luxury. What makes their marriage unique is that Ivana helped spread the Trump style, which is rather remarkable. She contributed her own glossy style to the interiors of many Trump hotels, which became synonymous with the company. Her exceptional work at the Plaza Hotel brought her widespread renown in the hospitality sector. The pair had a lot of success together, but their marriage was not perfect. While the 1980s were a time of great success and prosperity for Donald and Ivana, they were also a time of great public and private upheaval. Their relationship started to suffer under the weight of their public lives and successful businesses. In 1990, it came to light that Donald had an affair with Marla Maples, an actress who was younger than him, confirming rumors of his adultery. A public and contentious divorce ensued as a result of the scandal's extensive media coverage. When Ivana sought a divorce from Donald in 1991, she alleged cruel and inhuman treatment and claimed he had lied to her about his connection with Maples. Divorce procedures were contentious because the parents fought about child custody and monetary settlements. A Connecticut house, $14 million, and access to Trump's Florida resort Mar-a-Lago were all parts of the significant settlement that Ivana received. Ivana and Donald kept up a friendly connection in the years after their nasty marriage ended, especially for their kids' sake. As an entrepreneur and published author, Ivana persisted in building her own name. Ivana did not shy away from romance or marriage after her high-profile divorce from Donald Trump. Following her divorce from Donald, she had 3 significant relationships that continued to bring attention to her and enriched her already remarkable narrative. Riccardo Mazzucchelli was an Italian businessman who Ivana wed a second time. They were married in 1995 in what seemed to be a happy marriage. Ivana seemed to be a natural fit for the charismatic and business-savvy Mazzucchelli. Unfortunately, their marriage didn't last long, just about 20 months. Although the specific reasons for their breakup were never explained, it was obvious that they were unable to resolve their differences. Ivana and Mazzucchelli got themselves caught up in court fights after their divorce in 1997. He was hit with a countersue for libel when Ivana sued him for violating their prenuptial agreement. Despite the litigation final settlement, Ivana had a great deal of emotional and legal stress during this era. The next to arrive was the Italian merchant and aristocracy Count Roffredo Gaetani. This romance was less regimented and more passionate than her first marriage. Although they never tied the knot, Ivana and Gaetani had a strong relationship beginning in the late 90s and continuing until his untimely death in a vehicle accident in 2005. It seems like Gaetani's energetic lifestyle would be a good fit for Ivana, thanks to his magnetic personality and love of racing. They enjoyed life's better things together and were involved in many beautiful occasions during their partnership. Ivana suffered a heavy loss when her beloved Gaetani passed away suddenly, ending a relationship that had been very important to her. The marriage to Italian actor and model Rossano Rubicondi was the last and most troubled one that Ivana had. A grandiose ceremony took place at Mar-a-Lago, Donald Trump's Florida resort, in April 2008 when they were married. There were a lot of famous people there, and the media covered the wedding like a flower. One striking feature of their relationship was the age gap between Ivana, 59, and Rossano, 36. Their marriage was not without its early difficulties, despite the promising beginning. They kept up an on-again, off-again romance for years following their wedding, but they split up less than a year later. They finalized their divorce in 2009, but they continued to be close, making public appearances and reconciliations on a regular basis. Just like Ivana's life, Rossano Rubicondi's was a roller coaster of events. His relationship with Ivana was intense and unpredictable, and he was often characterized as a playboy. They became tabloid news staples due to the media's constant coverage of their relationship's highs and lows. There was continued closeness between Ivana and Rossano after their divorce. Ivana often spoke of him as the great love of her life. The tragic conclusion to their lengthy and troubled relationship came in 2021 with Rubicondi's death. A whirlwind was the best way to describe Ivana Trump's last marriage to Rossano Rubicondi. Passionate beginnings, a grandiose wedding, and a string of highs and lows defined their relationship, which kept them in the limelight. Rossano and Ivana's affair took off when they crossed paths in the early 2000s. The 23-year age difference between Rossano and the public and the media piqued their interest. Rossano was an Italian actor and model. Notwithstanding this, their bond seemed robust and brimming with affection for one another. The pair tied the knot in a lavish ceremony at Donald Trump's Florida resort Mar-a-Lago in April 2008. As one would expect from a socialite and successful entrepreneur like Ivana, the wedding was a lavish celebration. In addition to Ivana's children and other famous acquaintances from the entertainment, political, and commercial industries, the event drew almost 400 people. The media did a thorough job of covering the wedding, drawing attention to Ivana's stunning gown and the elaborate decor. Glitz and excitement abound at this real social wedding. But there were problems with the marriage almost from the start. Rossano and Ivana's marriage lasted less than a year before they divorced. Their relationship was clearly troubled, but the exact reasons for their breakup were never explained. In 2009, they finalized their divorce, but their journey was far from over. Over the course of many years, the couple's relationship was very ebb and flow, with regular reconciliations serving to maintain their bond. Despite the difficulties in their relationship, they were often seen together at social occasions, and their chemistry was obvious. Their relationship took an intriguing turn in 2018 when they appeared on Ballando con le Stelle, the Italian version of Dancing with the Stars. The show catapulted them back into the spotlight, and their on-screen chemistry was just as intense as their real-life romance. Even though they were apart for a while, the concert showed how close they remained. Their capacity to put aside their differences and work together for a common goal was on full display throughout their involvement. Even though they were legally separated, Ivana and Rossano were nonetheless very close up until his tragic death in 2021. Theirs is an intriguing part of Ivana's life narrative that shows how she may love and persevere despite her own struggles. Ivana Trump's life was profoundly saddened by the terrible death of Rossano Rubicondi. The end came in October 2021 for Ivana, when her beloved Italian actor and model Rossano, who had been there for her through thick and thin, died at the age of 49. The news of his untimely passing shocked and saddened Ivana and others who were close to him. Melanoma, a kind of skin cancer, was one of the causes of Rossano's premature death. Ivana was devastated by Rossano's death since the two had remained close despite their troubled relationship. From their extravagant wedding to their intense and sometimes turbulent love, they had enjoyed many unforgettable moments. Shared history and love kept their lives interwoven even after they officially separated, so they continued to remain connected. Ivana was very saddened. A person who had played a significant role in her life for a long time passing away was a terrible blow. Despite Ivana's reputation for overcoming adversity, the loss of Rossano hit her hard. Her public expression of grief included fond memories of their shared experiences and an appreciation for the special bond they had maintained over the years. The loss of Rossano had a profound effect on Ivana's life. The precariousness of life and the significance of valuing those closest to her were brought to her attention by it. Rossano was more to her than his marital status. He was a trusted companion and an ever-present influence. Many memories were rekindled, and the love and camaraderie they had shared were highlighted by his demise. Ivana pondered their friendship and the impact he had on her life in the months after Rossano passed away. The love and support of her loved ones helped her get through this tough moment. Ivana found solace in her profession and public appearances, which allowed her to keep busy with her social obligations, business ventures, and other pursuits, and took her mind off of her loss. Despite her vivacious character and resiliency, Ivana Trump had a difficult time in her last days. She was profoundly impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic's era of seclusion and health difficulties. Contrasted with her typically energetic and sociable lifestyle, Ivana, like many others, found herself cooped up at home more than ever before. Emotionally and physically, she felt the weight of the pandemic's isolation. Ivana struggled with several health problems during this challenging period. Isolation made her health problems worse, despite her legendary tenacity and will. She looked to be gradually fading from the lively personality her friends and family remembered, and she grew more reclusive as a result. A life of less social activity, fewer business contacts, and fewer public appearances took its place. The tragic and untimely end of Ivana's life occurred on July 14, 2022. It seemed that she had fallen, since she was discovered at the base of the stairs of her New York City residence. She died too soon after suffering serious injuries in the fall. A lady who had lived her life fearlessly came to an abrupt and tragic end, and the news of her departure surprised and saddened many. Reflections from loved ones provided a picture of Ivana's last year after her passing. Her loved ones recounted her battles with the isolation and deteriorating health that the virus had brought her. Notwithstanding these difficulties, people also recalled her unyielding determination and the many accomplishments she had throughout her extraordinary life. In particular, her children remembered her as a kind mother who fueled their ambitions with the same fire she had. Ivana's friends remembered her as someone who never shied away from a challenge and who always met it head-on. In their words, she was an innovator whose life and work had touched many lives for the better. Beyond her inner group, her impact reverberated across the media, fashion, and business spheres. Even though Ivana Trump had a difficult time in her last days, she was resilient and accomplished throughout her life. Hers is a remarkable life story of a strong, independent lady who achieved phenomenal success by her own hard work and unwavering will. The people she crossed across with on her incredible trip and her family ensure that her memory will endure. The last marriage of Ivana Trump to Rossano Rubicondi was a roller coaster ride, full of passionate highs and turbulent lows. There was no end to Ivana's yearning for romance and adventure throughout their love tale. Their bond remained as passionate as ever, even after several separations and reconciliations, as Ivana and Rossano always managed to reconnect. Unfortunately, Ivana was devastated by Rossano's sudden passing. Through it all, she showed remarkable strength in the face of tragedy. Is this something you can relate to? Give us some feedback by subscribing to the channel.